I just want to say this conversation is really giving me life, as the kids say these days. It's really making me feel better about life. I'm not gonna lie to you, but okay,
Yeah, I've been down lately, like for
so
real. I've
bad.
been
Yeah,
like so like emotionally exhausted.
yeah, that's a great way
Like
to describe it.
I want to say like after like 2 days, like after the George Floyd shit, I didn't think I even like smiled for like 3 days. I'm not even joking. Like I couldn't find, and I felt guilty about feeling happy because I was like, how the fuck can I be happy right now? Like what the fuck? But I realized like it's not healthy to continue to like you have to find pockets of joy and at the same time still be able like to be committed to like your goal in this shit.
Right.
Like you can still be yourself, you can still be, having the strive and the all that shit towards what you want to do and see how you want to see your people, but at the same time like you can laugh a little bit.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
was feeling guilty for laughing and feeling like I was like, like I'm gonna be mad, and like that doesn't get you anywhere. It just makes you have a headache.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was feeling so down that I actually went out to a like a family friend kind of get together type thing, birthday party. Probably caught the Rona being there. I ain't gonna hold you, but like it was worth it
Oh
because I really needed that
no.
because I was feeling really just down and bad. And then when like I seen black men and women clashing, that just was the final nail in the coffin. Because it's like, when stupid white people say, like, when racist, let's just say whatever they come in color they come in, when they talk, you expect that kind of stuff from them. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't hurt you, but it's just like, as a black man, it's like there's no there's no like body on the planet that I can count on more than black women. And that's just because, like I said, my dad was killed, and then my mom and my grandmas and everybody, black women carried me through that. I wouldn't have made it without them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like
Yeah.
black women are the most trustworthy to me. They're the ones I can count on, more so
Yeah.
than other men. Because it's just like, where are a lot of the men in my family are dead, or, of course I have men, but I'm saying like on my dad's, like, caught up in that whole drug war shit. But um so black women's opinion means everything to me. And so when I see, like, and I mean, obviously the loud minority doesn't represent all black women, I know that, but it's just like I don't want us to feel that way about each other. And so that was really painful, especially because I'm looking at what we're facing as a race. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like
Yeah.
we're sitting here arguing over petty shit in the public eye where everybody can see us. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's not a
Yeah.
great look. Like that's not what we do as black people. Because the first rule of black people is, or black families is like, hey, this, the business in this house stays in this house. That's not always healthy. That's toxic in a lot of situations because a lot of
It's
shit goes
so
wrong. That's
toxic.
toxic. But I'm just saying, how is it that we keep all the toxic shit in house, but when we want to just be petty with each other, that's all out on the internet and all in public
True.
and shit like that. So if you,
True.
like, that's, so it's just like we got to get back to, or start just having conversation. Like, it's okay to be hurt, it's okay to be upset, it's okay to be angry, but why are you angry? Why are you upset? Tell me. Help me understand.
Hmm.
Teach me why. Like, what can I do to make you feel better, instead of just attacking all black men or all black women, you know? And I have to take everything with a grain of salt because, like, not everybody had a mom or grandmas like I did, to where, my view of black women is so pristine or whatever. And I have the
Right.
highest expectations and the highest bar, and
Right.
I don't put anybody, you know what I'm saying? But like a lot of people didn't have that. Like, I remember being on a basketball team, and this wasn't a black woman, I don't believe, but I had a teammate who his mother just talked to him so bad, like in front of everybody, and just so I could only imagine how he was treated at home. And so I could see
Yeah.
his view of women being a lot different, or how you should approach a woman or how you should treat a woman being a lot different than mine, which is, so I just feel like we have to create safe places for people to express certain things and then like maybe give them alternate perspectives, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think like your perspective of black women is not the norm
And
at
I'm
all.
yeah, I agree with that, but that's what I like. I attribute that to my mom, my grandma, the black women that I have in my life. That's the example. So that's what I'm expecting. That's what I'm looking for. You see what I'm saying? So
Right,
I could see
right,
somebody that had the opposite of what I had, negative black images or whatever, maybe having a more negative and toxic view of what black women are, and so that's why you see them kind of making fools of themselves on the internet, praising other women and just making just it's just embarrassing, honestly. But I don't even really want to talk about it like that because it's just sad. Like your mom is black and you're talking about black women, and
right.
it's like for I don't really know too many people that didn't have their mama like dad. Like yeah, that you can find that all day long, but um it's hard for me to understand somebody not loving their mom with all their heart, but that's because like I said, how I was raised, how I grew up, and
Right.
the love and environment I had. So it's just like that's why I took a lot of this stuff the way I took it, because it's just like whoa, like
How can you?
not
Yeah.
even how can you, it's just like why are we doing this right now,
At this
like
moment.
we have so
Yeah.
much momentum right now, like why are we using it to fight each other? And it's like
Yeah.
like I'm not saying we shouldn't be talking about these things right now, but it's just like, do we have to be so disrespectful to each other? Do we have to
Hmm.
uh like negate each other's views? Because it's just like we all live different lives, so
Hmm.
our perspective is created by what we've seen. So just because your perspective is different from mine doesn't mean yours is wrong or mine is wrong. Like we could have different perspectives.
Right.
And I just felt like people went straight for the
Right.
attacks. Like they were
The
just trying to,
jugular.
yeah, like why do we do that to each other? Like, and I mean, we do it to other people too, which I love to see,
We
like
do.
especially the
We do it to
racists. I love to
everybody.
see it. I do love to see it. But it's like we got to be a little better with each other about that. Like as far as,
Yeah.
if a woman is expressing something, and I talked about this with my mom as well, is like women have a talent for like no hell has no fury like a woman scorned. So if a woman really want to tell you about yourself, she's really gonna get you together. Especially a black woman, like
Mhm.
she's really gonna get you together about what tell you. She gonna hit you where it hurts. So it's like I feel like we can also use that skill to kind of empower versus just cut down all the time, or just to teach, simply to teach. Just
Yeah.
you can use that skill to articulate how you're feeling, like what am I doing that, or what can I do to make you feel better, not feel this way, feel more protected, feel more loved, feel more appreciated. And then after that it's on me to do that or not.
True. True.
But give me that chance to learn and like be better or whatever, and and give other people that chance too.
Yeah. I feel like it's part of my duty as a black woman to check other black women, even if
Oh,
it's like
I love you for
not
that.
like even if it's like not warranted. Like, hey, you might not want to hear it, but I'm telling you this. And because nobody else might not tell you that shit. And it's my duty, my responsibility, because I care for y'all and I
Right.
care for my community and I care about the children who you have who might eventually interact with my children. So
Mm,
that's why I feel like it's my responsibility to tell your ass because it's all my community, whether or not we live near each other.
right.
And like I get a lot of like shit from people who are like, bitch, shut up, bitch. And I'm like, okay. Like you doing you're like we are instead of like using the word constructive, sometimes we just
Mm-hmm.
say like you dumb or shut up or you don't I don't like what you're saying.
Yeah, just completely
Why?
dismiss whatever it is because you know they don't agree.
It could have all the truth. Like I was arguing with somebody. I was like, tell me where I was wrong. They couldn't tell me I was wrong. They just wanted me not to say it. And to me, like, that's not fair
Yeah,
because when has the truth ever hurt somebody? Lying to people, that hurts people. You know,
the truth
lying
can
to,
hurt. The truth can hurt, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't be told it. And it depends. Like, for example, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. If somebody tells you,
Uh-huh.
like, for example, if somebody told me my breath stank, right?
Right.
Like, that would hurt my feelings, but like at the same time,
Hmm.
well, at the same time, I'd be grateful for knowing that so I could rectify that issue. So you have two schools of thought. Like some people, and then also it depends on a lot how the message is delivered. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, am I being lied to? Is this true or is it
Oh,
not
she's
true?
messaging us.
I heard that. I just
Daisy.
heard that.
You gonna reply?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we were talking about generational curses.
And then the generational trauma that we have to undo to have a healthy relationship. That's
Hmm.
oh my god, like because like I think we touched on it. We might have touched on it earlier, but I believe we were talking about like well, yeah, 75% of us have never seen like a functional two parent
Healthy.
house home. Healthy. What does
Well,
that even look like?
you said okay, 25% of us have seen it, and then what's the percentage of us who have seen healthy ones? Like,
Right. Like just two parents in general is
oh,
only 25%. That's
oh,
crazy. And then which like you got to eliminate the toxic percentage of that, the toxic percentage of that, the staying together for the kids, the like how many of them are like happy ideal like wow. And then where do these percentages come from like as far as well obviously there's no percentage for like happy households or whatever, but
yeah. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure like the census can tell us about the
like
who's still
married,
together,
yeah, but
but who is telling us who is happily
healthy
married?
and then
Like,
healthy constructive
healthy, happily
relationships. That's
married.
oh wow, that's something we need to look into somehow. I don't know how we would do that, but it's not the full 25%, I'll tell you that damn
Like a
much.
poll,
But even
for
post
sure.
which which reminds me, I wanted to ask you earlier about the statistic about abortions, 1% being rapes. Not that I'm doubting the statistic or anything, but how much? I wanted to ask you how much of that percentage do you think was contributed to the fact that people didn't report why they were getting an abortion? They just want, like how many of those abortions weren't reported as rapes? I mean, it has to be some number, but it just goes into like that percentage.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they can only go based off what
Yeah, what
people
people
tell
tell them. Yeah,
them. So,
exactly.
so
So
I mean,
yeah, got it. But
when they come in, I'm pretty sure they say, "Is this a product of rape?" And then
yeah,
I
they have
don't
to
see, I don't see a person who came for rape lying about that shit. Like, why would I? Why would I say, no, it's not a victim of rape? Why would you do that? Maybe you don't want the person contacted. I don't. Maybe a police report will be filed. I don't
I
know.
mean, yeah, I mean, and honestly, as a man, that's kind of the thought process we tend to lean towards in that situation. But I've realized that that could be very, like, toxic in some ways as well, as far as like telling a woman, oh, well, why didn't you report it? Or, maybe she just wanted to be done with it and forget about it. Or I don't know, like, I haven't been in that situation, so I'm not going to try to like tell you how you should react. But that was one thing I was thinking about that, because I never want to cut you off, but that's one thing I had in the back of my head that I wanted to ask you, like, what you thought about that. So anyway, let's try to get Deja in here. All right. So while we see if they're going to join, should we jump into like toxic relationships? Like, cause like, so the whole thing is like, when you talk about protecting black women, like, how do you, and then like I think I already kind of asked this question, but I just want to kind of do it again. Like what's like how do you want to be protected, I guess is the best way to ask it. Like as far as like if like let's say we're in school, right? And
Uh
I
huh.
like you, right? I'm trying to talk to you. And but
Mhm.
you like this other dude that's like a delinquent, right? And I'm like,
Bad guy.
right, like I'm like, you know what? He gonna go to jail. Like I'm finna, we finna, start this business. We finna get to like, how do I like protect you from that toxic situation you about to get yourself into? without
Some
being
bitches like
like
fuck niggas. Like
they
that is
do.
that.
So it's not just me. All right.
No, like
All
look,
right.
you can't say
You
somebody
said
who
it. I
doesn't
didn't.
want to be saved. You cannot say somebody who
You
does not
said it.
want
I
to
didn't.
be saved.
America.
And
She said that. I didn't. Like this is. She said it. It is what it
I said
is.
it. I said
It
it.
is what it is. Like that's
You
not
can't
just
say somebody
that's not
who does
mansplaining,
not
America.
want to be saved. If she like fuck niggas, you trying to convince her that you are the good guy. Let me tell you what happens. She's
Mm,
gonna have she's gonna have babies with this fuck nigga. And after she has babies with this fuck nigga and this fuck nigga ain't shit no more,
right.
then she is interested in your ass. And um I mean like let's
I
just be
almost walked off the
honest.
camera because you in here preaching. You finna start a congregation in here.
If if she's into fuck niggas, that's what they do. They
But
like fuck niggas who have kids, they end up having kids with these fuck niggas, and then after they tired and wore out and chased this nigga for all these
and
years,
down
then they
bad.
want a good man.
Right. And then when they're, and that's my problem is like I can't if that's what you want out of a man, then there's nothing I can tell you, like I shouldn't be able I'm not your father, I'm not your brother, so I can't tell you to not pursue what you want. But I just don't think it's fair as a black man, and that's why I found it so hurtful. I don't think it's fair when there's men that just want to love you and respect you or whatever, but you want to go get a thug and you know be riding shotgun during the shootouts and shit. But when shit goes bad,
Oh
when shit goes
no.
bad, niggas ain't shit though. It's all black men ain't shit or black men are terrible or this that and third. Yes, there's horrible black men out there that exist, but you could say the same thing about every other race. You decided to
Yes.
go for that, but and granted, not all bad people are always like you could start like there's people that start off as the nicest person, like the serial killers be nice as hell, and then they get you
True.
into an alley and slit your throat or something. So I'm not trying to minimize or be ignorant or anything like that, ladies. Please don't think that's what I'm
Ain't
saying.
no fuck nigga ever fooled me. I knew that nigga
Right?
wasn't
Yeah,
shit.
that's why I'm like,
Like
like y'all be knowing, bro. Women be knowing. That's what I'm saying. Like I hold women to a way higher standard. Like I know y'all know. So it's just like, but women, but see, that's the thing about women that I love is like if you literally just talk to them, like they'll just tell you what it is. So it's just like, yeah, I knew like this nigga wasn't shit, but I liked him and it was attractive and I was in a phase of where I wanted some danger and they'll just be honest with you.
true.
And I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Okay, we got another person joining in here. Oh. Welcome to the chat.
Hello.
I can't
Hello,
hear.
Miss
Hey
Miss
girl.
Miss
How's
Lavender
it
Flowers.
going, y'all?
Good. Wait, you said who can't see who? Who can't see who?
No, I can
I
see
can't see
Oh,
nobody.
okay.
That's just me
Oh,
and
you got to go to what is it called? Gallery view or where's that at though? Um,
it. There it is.
can y'all see each other now?
Mhm.
Okay. What about you, Miss Lavender? You can see everybody.
Oh, no, I am going to sit here and mess with it until I can.
Okay. First of all, I just want you to be safe on the road, please. We're in a protect black women campaign right now, so I just want you to be safe on the road. Don't pay too much attention to the phone. Please just get to where you're
Always
going.
and forever. Hello, gorgeous.
Um.
Ooh,
Oh, okay. So you got it now.
yeah, it's going to go back and forth. This is fun. All right.
All right. So yeah, basically we've been in here enjoying a little wine. Of course, you can't do that while driving, but we've been covering a lot of great topics. So we just want you to fall in, focus on the road. Um, add in whatever you feel like you want to add in whenever, and let's keep going. This is really great. So where did we leave off, Miss Cresswell?
We were talking about uh we are well aware of fuck niggas. Like it's
Oh, did we do?
we
Should we
just
start her off there?
indulge with fuck niggas with the risk.
Right.
I'm
So
no longer taking that risk, but people will take that risk. I don't take that risk.
all right, so Miss Lavender Flowers missed all the revolutionary talk we had earlier. So I know this is
Right?
kind of like a weird place to come in, but like trust me, we've already like smited the racist and really just addressed all of those issues. So right now we're really getting into how we
Love
can
it.
better love and protect each other. And so part of that is like part of that is like basically my question was, as a black man that wants to love and protect black women, like where is the line drawn to where I can protect you from yourself, if you will? Like if you want to date the dude that's bad for you because that's what you want, like at a certain point it's not my place to tell you not to do that.
Yeah,
And
that
so
I
at
understand.
so I felt the reason why I was kind of hurt by some of the stuff I was seeing is because I felt like, well, you're saying I'm not protecting you from a situation that's really not my place to protect you from. Like it's only so much I can protect you from yourself. So I was asking, for ladies' opinion on that.
I mean, personally, I was going to school to be a psychiatrist, so I have spent a lot of time studying the human mind and really how we formulate our ideas and live our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really interesting when it comes to help, you will only ever be able to help someone as much as they are willing to let you help. Even if they're asking for more, it doesn't mean that they're giving you the space for more. And I've had that in a lot of conversations. If someone asks you for advice and then you give it to them, they don't like it.
Right.
They don't listen to it. That's them. That's them closing it off. Because if you weren't closed off to what I was saying, even if you didn't agree with my point, you would have picked up something that was of value to you, and you would have been able to take my advice and twitch it into your own. So that one's hard. That's like an individualistic kind of thing.
That's a great
point.
So I'm gonna just open the floor to both of you ladies. In general, do you like what are some things that maybe you want to see more of from black men, like as far as making you feel more loved, protected, appreciated, that kind of stuff?
You got something to say? I'll speak. Okay, cool. I think personally, just the little things. Like I appreciate this whole black girl magic, movement. But at the end of the day, that's women telling other women that. Yes, there are men saying it 100%. I've been called queen up and down by my black men, and I absolutely adore it. But for every person who calls me queen, there is someone saying some sideways commentary.
Right.
And I don't understand the and I will call it self-hatred.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
You were raised by a black woman.
You hate your mama. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You hate your mama. Like, who does that?
Yeah. Even if you're mixed, you hate your grandma then. Like, you hate somebody in your family. It doesn't make no sense. Like,
it really doesn't.
Yeah. Like, and you, in my opinion, you don't have to marry a black woman to love black women. I think in America specifically, we can do our things. But in my point of view, you will always have more black people marrying black people. So I don't have to worry about the people who want to be mixed and create little mixed babies like me. That's fine.
Okay.
Point. That's not a popular opinion, but that's my opinion.
I was gonna say, okay, so y'all see, this is why I love talking to women, because y'all open up the way y'all open up cans of worms. I keep saying cans of worms, but you know what I mean. Like y'all just like So you said marriage, like, and then Miss Cresswell had a little look at the sky, like So I'm interested in like, okay, so what's the perspective on black marriage? Like, we're all young black people here. Miss Lavender said that you can love a black woman without marrying her. Miss Cresswell kind of So let's talk about it.
No, okay. So when black men, it's a huge difference between black men marrying white women and white women marrying black men. Like it's such a big difference. And when I see black men marry white women, it's like they're in protection of black culture, or like black people coming at them about race or about how they feel. It's like in protection of them. But when black women marry white men, it's no protection. Like, we're not protecting them. We don't like, okay, don't talk to my white husband about that shit. Like, it's never that. Like, we want to involve them. We want to, because once
but
you
y'all
like
keep them in
are
line
on this, once y'all are on this, like you ain't getting off this shit. But black men, when they date white women, it's like it's a weird thing. It's like, okay, don't put her in a group, okay? And her being offended is so small compared to what this shit is right now. And I don't have time to be worried about her being offended.
Right.
If she's not a racist or she is, she cares about black people, that's great. But for me to take time out to say, you personally, I don't think you are a racist, is me like just getting off the path of what this
Yeah, what
really
we
is
got going
about.
on.
And
Yeah,
I don't
because
like that. I
yeah,
don't like that.
yeah. If she
Yeah.
wasn't a
And I
racist,
see
she
that a
wouldn't be
lot
offended.
with black men defending, like, you can love who you want to love. We didn't make an opinion about her race.
Right.
We talking about these white people who are saying racist things. And if she happens, like Amanda
To get
just said, some
offended.
people happen
Exactly.
to be some people are happen to be white and some people are white people. And if you happen to be white, use this as a educational tool to be in the spaces that we necessarily cannot be in, and for you to be saying stuff like, well, don't talk to her crazy, you know is you are really just shielding her from what she can really do.
Yeah. I completely agree with that statement. My grandma is white, but my grandmother loves black men. And I do mean loves black men. Like,
Yeah.
my dad and my uncle, different dads, like, still black. But she was always a person who was going to stand up and say what she needed to say. And she was going to share her opinion. She taught me about white supremacy. She taught me how to use my light skin privileges to speak out for other people. She taught me that there are white people who will use their white privilege to be able to stop this bigotry and this racism. Those are the people that I appreciate. My stepmom was white, same thing. She has fought, like physically fought somebody for saying some
Yeah.
offhandedly racist-ish to her. And those are the people that I will back every single day. I'm from Minnesota. As you can see on the news, there are a lot of black people in Minnesota, and
didn't know that
I think
until that.
exactly. It's really funny that nobody knows that. Like, I used to tell people, like, I'm from Minnesota where white people come out the snow. It's just a joke. It's just a joke because it's literally so whitewashed up there. But as soon as you find a black person, you found all of them. The white people that live in those areas are some of the coolest white people I will ever know in my entire life. They are the people who are actively going together with these, with Black Lives Matter movements, with all these other movements in Minnesota, cleaning up after all this rioting, all this, extra emphasis of violence. Those are the people that I need to see more of, because they're not loud online because they're busy being loud in person.
Right.
That's why I tell people all the time online, there's only so much you're going to get here, and a lot of it's going to be hate because they have their keyboard personalities,
right,
where they're able to say things to you. They're not going to say that in real life. More people in the world at this point, if you look at the news, really, that's not our news because our news lies to us on a regular basis. The world is on our side. The world agrees with us. Black, white, Asian, orange, purple, it don't matter. They agree with us. We're not alone. So I can look at my white friends who can say white people and know I'm not talking about you. And, I get a little bit of free, a little bit of like a breath of fresh air, because online, white people are crazy.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they be turning up on there.
Right. And they come out with these commentaries and these ideas, right? And none of them are true. So y'all are just getting mad at facts that you made up.
And we went over those. We definitely were talking about a lot of them, but trust me, we can run back through them again. I don't know if you want to go through the whole white on white crime, but that's one of my favorite topics as of late is white on white crime, since they want to make black on black crime such a big thing.
My statement is this: crime will happen in your community.
Community, exactly.
Period.
So if your community is mixed, you won't have mixed crime. If your community is white, you're gonna have white crime, black crime, Mexican crime. You're going to experience it. So for someone to say, oh, but what about black on black crime? Or even my favorite thing is white people will try and create a story or find a story similar to like George Floyd
with a white person.
Well, they can't keep up with someone like Breonna Taylor. They cannot do
my God.
The ones that we're really bad about, they can't recreate. But the ones that they can, they're like, oh, well, where were y'all when this happened? I'm like, well,
Yeah,
You
where
weren't
the fuck
aware.
were you? Yeah, where the
Yeah,
fuck were you though?
exactly. I wasn't
And
aware.
why are you
You
And
fighting
why
me?
y'all not
Like, why are you
mad?
mad? Why aren't you mad with me?
exactly.
Where's his parents?
Exactly. Why aren't if this is happening to y'all? Why are you arguing with me?
But
Why
see
are
that,
you okay with that?
and that's where white supremacy and racism comes in because it's like they're willing to let a few of their own die so we can continue getting our shit stomped on.
Yes.
That's the
Right.
They're
crazy
like,
part.
damn. They're like,
It's crazy.
okay, well, we'll sacrifice them if
Yeah,
they can keep murdering God.
you'll let
Fuck
him
it.
kick Kyle in the head just so he could, kneel on George's neck. That's crazy to me.
Right? Or the all lives matter.
Oh
Right?
Lord, have mercy.
I love some of the all lives matter because I get where they're coming from when they're like, everyone needs to have this love and affection and everyone needs equality. But
But
that
that's
is
what Black
not
Lives Matter is supposed
what
to mean.
the people are
Exactly.
exactly. Like the people who understand Black Lives out there with us, regardless of your skin color. We are the ones getting mad for everybody else since All Lives Matter doesn't want to get mad.
Right.
I will never be on All Lives Matter because it was created as a protest to oppression. And that's the most
Exactly.
ignorant thing I've ever seen. Period.
Black Lives Matter is so much
But I would love
similar.
to. I like the sentiment. I get it. Exactly. It's literally the same thing. It was like, hey, all of us are going through some bad stuff right now. My child keeps dying. Can we address this? And people
Yeah.
still have something else to say to us. It's crazy.
Right. We
No.
just saying we matter too. Like,
No, I'm
because y'all
saying,
seem
right,
to forget that.
right?
Black Lives Matter is so similar to the civil rights movement when people were like, oh, black people just want to be civil. And then the gay people jumped on that bandwagon and were like, hey, so what about us gays? Like,
Uh-oh.
and that's disturbing to me that
I mean, okay.
Here we go.
LGBTQ is jumping on our bandwagon because LGBTQ crimes are similar to black on black crimes because most LGBTQ crimes are committed by somebody else in that community. Most LGBT people, Q people, crimes are committed by somebody in that group. Like the last girl who was murdered, she was a transgender girl. She was killed by another transgender girl.
I didn't
So
hear
I don't
about that one.
understand why y'all have to be with. Y'all can be with us, but I don't understand why y'all have to say that we are fighting the same fight because we're not fighting the same fight at all.
Well, let me just say this real quick, and then
I
go ahead. I'm gonna let you go real quick,
no.
Lavender.
Go
I
ahead.
just
Go ahead.
want to say this, like, I'm not gonna act like I'm super well versed on LGBTQ issues, but as black people, I just feel like we're all black at the end of the day. So it's just like whatever you identify as, nigga, like they will kill you, bro. Like regardless.
No, when they pull up, they don't know.
Like they don't care though. The point is they don't care. So it's just like I'm not saying we need to minimize any LGBTQ issues, but I'm just saying like I don't like the point of this whole podcast is like we need to stop dividing each like ourselves, our number, men versus women, gay versus straight, whatever, even black versus other races. But I mean, obviously, black people got to come together, but we have a lot of allies outside of our race as well. But I just feel like that's another way to divide the movement. And then, like you said earlier, Valencia, with the, the classism, even, like the poor white trash hates black people, but their lives are so much similar to us than it is to rich white people. And they can't even see that because they're so blinded by the hatred just for our skin tone. But I'm sorry, Lavender, please take the floor.
I have so many comments to say.
Please tell me all of them.
Jesus. I have a worse memory, so let's see if that works out. So when it comes to gay people and gay rights and all that, whenever a black people step up and they're like, hey, I need rights. This is America. America is the melting pot of the world. You come here from absolutely any corner, or at least the idea is you come here from any corner of the world and you can be successful in however you define success. I love that sentiment. America is so different from everywhere else because we value differences. Now, that being said, if there is a black movement, trust your benefits are on the way. They really messed with us for 250 years. So if we get it, you will get it soon. Don't worry, we're on the same team. However, if you sit here and you chop away at things and you put people in boxes and you push them into their categories, you're going to experience a bunch of nations trying to live in the same space. And that's
Exactly.
not what this is. We are building and creating our own culture. Black people built and created our own culture. Granted, we were forced to because we didn't have anything else to go off of. But that in and of itself is beautiful.
Yes,
We
it is.
need to embrace that. Like all these differences, like I'm bisexual. I identify as bisexual because when I was in school, that is all the option I had was that. And I identified myself in that category. But I was okay telling people I was gay. That's fine. But they had more questions, so I would answer them. I don't like when people split it into like pans and all this other stuff because like now you're confusing type with sexual preference. So now I have to fight your type or for your type, and I have to fight for your preference, and I have to fight for your rights. And now you're making me do a lot of things that don't make sense to me. And as much as y'all try to make sense out of them, they don't make sense.
So explain, if you will, explain like type versus preference to like men who, you know, don't get that.
When it comes to like a type, right? I say it as like their sexual organ. The sexual organ you are attracted to. That is your sexual preference. So I love men and women. If you're straight, you love men. For you, if she's straight, she loves, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Statement is
I
correct.
get what you're saying.
Thank you. Your preference would come in as I prefer black men or people of color. My 3 boyfriends I've had have all been black. My current boyfriend is African. I have dated Latino women. I have dated black women. I dated one white woman. Like I've seen the things. My type is black people. That does not mean that I see anyone else as less. This is just my type. So if and I'm going off their definition. So if a trans woman is a woman, how is that not a type? How is that not just a preference of female that I will or won't accept? Like I know people who just won't date white women. I completely understand. You're a black man. If she says the R word, that's it. That's your life. There's nothing else you can do about that. As
what's the R word?
Proven time and time again by all these jury cases. So if my type is I don't like white women, but I like all these people, is that a whole different sexuality? Is that something entirely new? Or is it just this thing? Like we make everything really complicated because we want to, but once you add 128 sexualities and you want me to know the name of all of them and you want me to give respect to you.
Did you say 120?
Yeah, there's 128
How?
sexualities.
Wait,
apparently.
What? Huh?
I have no idea.
But how though? Like, how is that even possible?
Pansexual, transsexual.
But that
I'm not the person to ask.
Okay.
I'm not the person to ask.
Let me add the one question
but,
I really.
Like, according to science, there are 6 sexes. So those 6 sexes I can understand. Things like if you have both genitals, if you have genitals, if you have deformities, those are when the other things come into play. So there's more than just man and woman because you can have like a bunch of things. Those are the basic 2 because those are the quote unquote normals.
Right.
Those are things represented in our society that don't have quote unquote mutations. So male and female are normal. So I can get like, I guess if there's 6 genders, right? I could get a couple sexualities, but 128?
No, like, y'all wilded over there. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 100 what? Like
the 6 genders. Honestly, it's a really interesting. It's an interesting read. It's like
yeah, I bet it is.
Male, you're female, you're androgynous, you're I forgot the scientific name, but a hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite, yeah.
I forgot what the other one is.
Well, but hermaphrodites usually don't have those.
Yeah, hermaphrodites have both organs. What?
I'm confused.
Hermaphrodites, okay, like a hermaphrodite, if she has like she usually would have like a little piece, but ovaries or no ovaries.
So
right?
It depends. Because they can have them and they cannot have them. Some people have both like organs and like they would have a shallow, vagina, or they would have a small penis. Like you know, your personal body hormones, which are the chemicals that your body makes up and how you decide who you
Uh-huh.
are quote unquote mutated, and that is what you get. Now, it's not a disease because there's no harm to self or anyone else. So everyone who's like, you know, homosexuality is a disease. I'm like, well, then so is skin color, eye color, hair type.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
it's
that's
all a chemical
extreme. That's
balance in the
crazy.
body.
But
Yeah.
let me just ask you two women this, and I would like to hear both of your responses. And this will be interesting. Um, do y'all feel that trans women are the same thing as women?
I don't. I don't.
I mean, as a straight male, I do not, but that's no disrespect to transgender women. I just
It's
don't feel
not
like it's the
disrespect,
same
but
thing.
it's not
I feel
disrespect
like
at
if
all.
okay, go
Not
ahead, Lavender.
disrespect at all. But I can't in clear conscience call you a woman because you want to, because you feel like a woman.
Okay, well, let me
Like if
ask you
I
this real quick. Do you feel disrespected then by the sentiment that trans women are women? Like as a woman,
I
like do
don't
you?
feel disrespected because she's not a woman.
Fair enough.
Personally, I will call you what you want as long as it's not offensive. So
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah, for sure, for
feel
sure, for
like,
sure, for
yeah,
sure.
if you
Let me
feel
make that
like
clear. Yeah, I agree with
you're
that.
a woman, yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I see where y'all are coming from too. I get it. That's just me personally. I've seen a lot of things. I've been around a lot of different kinds of people. I gotta be honest. If you want me to call you a she, girl, I don't care. If because you're gay, I'm still gonna call you a girl anyway. So like, I call my brother girl. I call my mom man. I don't like it. There's these things that we get like. I mean, if you get built up about it, that's on you. I genuinely don't really care. You want to be a man, sure, as long as you're not harming me, sure. Now, when it comes to this is a joke, but when it comes to transgender women in sporting events, that's a little unfair because your genetic makeup is still a man. Yes, we can get as strong. It takes a lot more for me to get stronger because my genetic buildup is for lean muscle. Just like it's a lot harder for men to like start working out and not get really, really bulky. You have to do a lot. When it to it, you're like at the end of the day, some things you can't change. But if you
I
want
think
to slip off your stuff and you want to do your stuff, go ahead. Shoot. It
I
doesn't
think it's
bother me.
disrespectful to call me cisgender. Like I think
Yeah,
it's
I don't like that.
disrespectful.
I don't like. Don't use
What
my
does that
title because you want a
mean?
title. Like that's weird.
I always wanted
Yeah,
to
like
know. Well,
you
I mean, I guess
you
if she
can
was
be
cis.
you can be whatever, but don't call me cisgender
Right?
because
Or
I'm a female. Like don't do that.
thank
Don't
you.
do
Like
that
that. I'm
shit.
a straight female. I respect your label. Respect my label. Okay. Like,
That's annoying to me. And
yeah.
just because you want to be called something, that means it's disrespectful of me to call myself a biological female instead of a transitioning or transgender female. So you want to put something cis female or cisgender female
Yeah.
in front of my name to help you feel better, and I don't like that.
So let me ask you
Exactly.
this then, both of y'all. If a man you were potentially dating or like about to start dating or talking to, whatever you want to call it, if a man was dating previously transgender women, would you consider him to be straight?
I consider him gay.
Exactly. Oh, well, I'm not gonna say exactly, but I'm saying I agree.
It depends. Did they go through a sex change?
Their partner,
Like
well,
that. That's what
that's
I'm saying.
another
Like
question. I
it
don't know how that
genuinely
works, but
depends. Like personally, trans is not my type because of the hormones that they take makes them really into mood swings. I got enough females in my life. I got enough mood swings. But
Let me
like,
find some headphones. I'll be right back.
all right. So I don't really remember where we left off, but if y'all want to just start like anywhere else, like if anybody just has
We
something
were
on their heart or
we
mind.
were talking about the term cisgender.
Oh,
yeah,
oh, yeah, we were in the LGBT part of the show, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
I agree. I really don't like that terminology. Like, don't make me. That's what I. My point earlier too was with bisexual and pansexual. Don't make me pick one. Like, don't make me sit here and argue with you over what I am. Like, don't.
yeah, you like what you like, and that's it, right?
Right? Like,
What
let me
exactly is
identify how I would.
pansexual?
So pansexual means that you don't quote have like a preference. So if someone walked up to you and they were like, "You're cute," You'd be like, oh shit, you're cute too. I'm gonna date you. But as bisexual, that's how I feel. So I don't know why this whole other word was created.
I
Right.
thought
But again,
pansexual was like you are sexually attracted to things and not necessarily people.
I completely
I
understand.
swear.
I don't know what the word for that is. But do you know what? You want to know a funny fact? Is it was legal to marry an inanimate object before it was legal to interracially marry. So I could marry a TV before my grandma could marry my granddad.
Hey, we need to just start our own country because, like, it just gets to the point where it's like, you know, we don't want to build on top of this bullshit. We need to burn this all down and start over.
Start over.
We're this close to a revolution. I say it all the time.
Oh yeah, this close, which is why we
We're
have
this
to do this right now.
We just don't have a leader. We need a Martin Luther King. Okay, we need
Or Malcolm. We need a Malcolm.
No.
Sorry, personally, I think they both had good points, and if you put them together into one person, that would have been the man.
Yeah, and throw Marcus Garvey in there too.
100% of anything.
I think having a leader is dangerous.
Yeah, because that's a target for assassination. That's our problem. We always centralize within one person. We need us. We need everybody. We need our group, like
But
our
then
generation.
The problem with everybody is you have everybody's opinions. So then you have the people who, you know, I go to gun control because it's really easy to talk about. Most people who talk about gun control are saying, I need you to register your guns so I know how many you have, and I know if you buy a bunch all at once. And that's really sus. So now you're on my radar, I can pay attention to you.
Right.
And then there are like a smaller group, but they're quite loud, are saying, I'm taking all of your guns. The people who don't want any kind of control on their guns are going to pay attention to those people. Those people are going to be the new face, and those people are going to be what everyone associates gun control with. That's what's happening right now.
Right.
Even though they are, like I said, a major minority.
Right.
So if you don't have, let's say, a group of leaders then, or like a page where people like, we sit down and we decide what our values are. Like, I love defund the police. Great idea.
Right.
I don't know how many conversations I've had with people about what that actually means, and almost none of us agree. That's bad.
Yeah.
You can't get anywhere if you're just poking at problems. You're not part of the solution. You're not gonna get anywhere.
Right.
But that's my opinion.
White racist people who say stuff like defund the police. Oh, defund the police, and I'm gonna show up and da 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 da.
Right? Like that's
Like,
called
stop.
that's murder. Okay. People who are like, I dare some protester to walk in front of my truck, I'll run you over. So that is premeditated murder.
Right.
But they do it and get away with it though.
They do, because our whole system is not. See, that's the problem. The minorities have power. They think they want us to believe that it's a majority that has the power. They're not. Only 64% of Americans voted. Only 64% of Americans voted. 11,000 voted for Harambe. 7,000 voted for Hennessy. A bunch of people voted for third party. Like not many people voted for Hillary. So you can always tell when a Republican is going to win if the Democratic Party splits in half.
They are.
And they're like Trump right now, he's going to win.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Because
right
look
now,
at Biden, bro. Like we talked about
Biden's
that.
a trip.
Oh my God, we talked about it.
Jesus.
We talked about it. Look, but if you need to get that off your chest too, go ahead, because we both had things to say
Please
about
tell
Biden.
me.
I'm just saying, Biden's a trip. I'm just saying, like, there's so many things that you could look at, and you don't have to like the way that little girls look around him when they take pictures. That's a
Ooh.
sign. That's
That
something that's
part.
not right here, and I don't want another one. Donald Trump, I'm sure, has dementia. It's the way he stands, the way
I
he
saw
slurs
that.
his words. Like, yeah, even before I saw that, I was like, yep, y'all are correct, because I've been saying this.
I thought they
No,
photoshopped his body,
No, they didn't.
Mm-mm.
but they
did
didn't
not.
though. He was really standing like that.
Yeah, and it's a frontal temporal dementia. It's crazy, and it also makes sense with his narcissism and the level of narcissism that he is. It's crazy. It's crazy. But then Joe comes out and he starts talking, and I'm like, damn, you too?
But like, do we really even trust old white men with anything at this
No.
point though?
No.
I joked.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what what old white man are you gonna put in front of me that I have faith in? None at all.
Zero.
And
Give me a
even
Michelle
Bernie, right?
Obama. Give me Michelle.
Right.
I'm sorry. Even though
Something.
just anything. But even though oh, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I was gonna say, even though we determined earlier that Obama, all we asked of Obama was to be black, and that's what he did. So
Yeah, that
Yep.
everyone who gets mad at Obama for not doing for black people don't understand.
that he was
We
funded
didn't
by the
ask for shit.
LGBTQ and
Right?
the
Like,
Hispanic
it's
American.
white
Yeah, I
people.
mentioned that.
Yeah, it's just like, you remember the "I'm Not a Racist" video?
I didn't actually watch that because
I never watched that.
whatever he was holding up, I didn't like. He was holding up a sign that said "black" something, and I didn't like it, so I didn't watch it. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, the first verse is just like the most racist man going in on a black guy. I'm mad because maybe like 3 or 4 of his points were valid. It makes me mad to prove somebody who hates me so much right. I hate that. But at the end of the day, I love if you guys take some time just to watch it. You don't have to. It might trigger you.
What? No. What was the point?
Yeah, if he had points, he had points. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
My right. But my thing is, when I saw the black line, right, I really enjoyed it because he went a little deep and then started saying things about, you don't know about fried chicken, you don't know about Kool-Aid. Everyone was like, that's the stupidest line you could ever say. That's ridiculous. And I'm like, I get where y'all coming from, but think about it on another level, because that's what Joyner does. If you take it, right, they know about fried chicken. Everyone knows how to make fried chicken. You don't know the history and how we learned how to make this and how we didn't write it down. And my grandma taught me and her grandma taught her and it's passed down.
Mm-hmm.
The recipes I cook with are passed down.
Right.
You get chicken. You don't understand fried chicken. You know Kool-Aid. You don't get it. Because if I roast this white man the way he roasted me, we're not having a conversation. They're not watching the video. They clicked off. They're not. As much as I want to go in on white people for their just continual bigotry, because they want to say get over slavery, but
And
they haven't done
ignorance.
anything to help us get over it.
Right.
Sure. But if I go in on you, we're not going to have a conversation. We're not going to listen. I need you to fix this because I'm already here to fix it. You're the only one who's not at the table.
Right. I agree with that for sure.
But yeah.
So just to clarify, there was a white. Who said the "you don't know fried chicken" line? Like that was black people to white people, right? Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure I understood that correctly.
The white guy went off with straight, like, regular racist stuff.
So it was a debate or
you're
something?
on welfare, all that fun stuff.
It was a back and forth, or?
So it was, the first verse was the white guy, and then it was a black guy, and then at the end they hugged. And I get the message. That conversation that y'all two just had should not have ended in a hug.
Right.
That was not a conversation of understanding. That was not a conversation of healing. That was a conversation of, this is what I don't like about you. This is what you don't like about me. That's it.
So what were the points the racists had?
Don't make no sense.
What were the points the racists had? Like the points where you had to agree with them even though you hated it?
Like, okay, so like black people not being, or black dads not being there for their kids. It's not as big as the statistic as everyone says it is. However, it's big enough to be concerning. My dad, I love him. Really, I do. But he was not a part of my adolescent life. He's a part of my life now. I appreciate that because we can recognize where we're messed up and come together and fix it. There's so many people who don't have that. Why do we have to keep feeding that stereotype? And granted, a lot of it is police. They're in prison, they're dead, they didn't make it that far. Like, that's a whole category, which is why I say he was somewhat right. But like, the people who just decided to do whatever they want to do, y'all didn't want to wrap it up and you don't want to deal with the consequence. What excuse do you have? What excuse am I supposed to understand?
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, I just feel like the problem, like, I don't think black people generally have a problem with that line of thinking, but it's more so like how it's being presented. Like, black men just didn't decide to die or go to jail. I mean, I guess you could say they did because they decided to commit crimes or whatever, but then you have to look at the socioeconomic circumstances and, the systematic element to all and that's what they ignore, which is why it's frustrating for us.
Yeah.
Because it's like we agree, but you're missing so much of the picture that, you just make it seem like black men don't want to be there.
Yeah. I see you seeing everything. I see you like internalizing it, but you're still missing the point. Just like All Lives Matter. You're missing the point. Your statement is correct, but you're not getting on the point.
Exactly. You're intentionally missing the point because Black Lives Matter is saying that all lives matter. It's just that we feel like we're not being represented in all lives. So we have to
Exactly.
say that Black Lives Matter. That's literally all it is. And,
Yeah.
you know, people, I brought this up earlier, but since you're here now, let's bring it up again. You know, Black Lives Matter. I feel like there is a statement, and then I feel like there's this movement that, you know, the media tries to, you know, assign to any type of black or minority unrest or whatever. Like, you know, like they take away from the statement to say, oh, well, look at Black Lives Matter burning down a Wendy's. But then on Instagram, you see that there's a white girl burning the Wendy's down, in fact.
Everything in Minnesota. Everything in Minnesota. Okay, first things first, this is my house. I got this cool.
Yeah, the treehouse. that
cool.
is
There's
tight.
trees
That
out
is
here,
tight.
right? You look at this window, there's trees there.
Yeah,
That's
Look
so
out here,
cool.
there's trees. So it's like a treehouse.
that's amazing.
What were we talking about? Black Lives Matter. News media portrayal.
Yeah, like the news narrative of Black Lives Matter, like they
Yeah.
basically had made their own movement and they assigned it to any type of like minority unrest versus just us saying, hey, don't kill us, do your job, detain us, and let us stand a fair trial for whatever crime you're
Right.
accusing us of. That's all we're saying.
Right. I deserve to be arrested and live past this arrest.
Right. I'm entitled to a fair trial of my peers according to your fucking constitution that you wrote.
White supremacy says that our obedience is not worth it. Like our disobedience is like you deserve this. And like we, as even a black woman, I can say, damn, like just listen to him, so you don't get hurt. That's a fucked up way of thinking.
Right.
That I would even think to myself, damn, just please don't move. Like, don't talk back. Please don't do none of that shit.
Right.
I should not think
just
like
to make
that.
it home. Just to make it home. I
Yeah,
feel you, though.
I should not be thinking like that because guess what? White women don't think like that. They don't think if
They
their
don't have
husband
to.
pop off to the cops, it's a possibility that his ass could be laid out and I'll never see him again.
To be honest, that's
Right.
why I can't date no white woman. No disrespect to anybody out there. I can't date no white woman. I can't ride with no white woman because if we get pulled over and you start popping off and I get shot, I'm a haunt your
Right.
ass. But, you know,
Right.
but not to make it a joke or whatever, but I'm just saying what you just said is very important. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, and I think that's, you know, because I'm not the one on the kick of like telling people who to date or whatever, but as a black man, I feel like that's very important to have women who understand that. Because if there's, you know, a situation where, you know, I can't educate you after we get pulled over, you know, because I might not survive that situation. I need you to
Yeah.
be raised in the same type of situation I was, you know what I'm saying, or the same
Or
mindset
aware,
or understanding,
yeah.
awareness. I need you to be aware, and you know that kind of thing. So, and just to what you're saying, I don't think you're wrong for feeling like, hey, don't, you know, mouth off or don't like talk back or don't like incite, you know, what you know they're capable of. Even though we shouldn't, you know, we should have the same rights as Kyle and Karen who can talk shit to the police or matter of fact, better that they can walk into a church and murder 9 black people and get a fucking burger after doing so.
Right.
You know what I'm
You get a
saying?
glass of water, I'll feed it to you. What?
Right.
That's
so
ridiculous.
you know, so even though like I don't think you're wrong for doing that, but I think, you know, that just highlights the situation we're in. We understand, because I'm the same way, honestly. If I get pulled over, I'm never going to be like, why the fuck you pulling me over? I'm a, you know, yes sir, no sir, just so I can make it home. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I think too. But the reality is how many white boys of, you know, like I said, Dylan Roof, let's just call it who he is. Dylan Roof walked into the church and murdered 9 people and got a burger. I doubt he was physically harmed at all. How many of these white boys have walked into schools and murdered white children, white on white crime? Let's talk about it, you know, and still be carted off in bulletproof vest without anything happening to them, without them being shot or killed. But George Floyd is accused of using a false 20 and kneel on his neck for 8-9 minutes. So it's like, what do they want from us? Like,
You know that video?
Obedience.
I couldn't. Okay, I got 2 minutes. Oh. Not even obedience. They want us to know our place. We're in it no matter how long we fight. Until we encourage ourselves to grow, this is white America. Because it's run by white people. I always tell people to go vote. because I know it makes it, you feel like you have no voice, feel like you can't do anything, you can't say anything. But someone could win by one vote. But if enough of you feel like your voice doesn't matter, now it's 8,000 people who aren't voting. Imagine what could have swung with 8,000 votes. You got to go out, you got to do it. Sometimes you have to play by their game to win it. We can use their rule. Like, I love AOC. She is my favorite human in the world. I'm going to use your game and I'm going to beat you at it. And she's proven that time and time again. Granted, she messes up. I recognize her when she messes up. I call her out on her shit, just like I did with Obama. But like, no one's perfect. But I can be on your side because we can't make lobbying illegal because the people who benefit of it are making the laws. We can't make gerrymandering illegal because the people who benefit are making the laws. Like, till we get people in there who can start to change stuff, then we can see things to come out. Obama did what? 445 executive orders. Imagine what he could have done if those basic rules weren't fought by Congress and he didn't have to go through the process of an executive order. We can make that happen. I feel like that's, at the end of the day, that's the most important way that we can retaliate against them.
So politically, where do you, not to, I mean, I know that's kind of inappropriate to just ask somebody their political views, but I was asking Ms. Cresswell earlier because I feel like I used to be very politically inclined in high school when I was in like speech and debate and parliament and all of that, and I had to know all this stuff, but now I don't feel like I know where all the the candidates, I don't know where they stand. Like, I don't know their platform. I just feel like I've lost faith in, anybody. Like, I don't have faith that anybody is going to represent us the way we need to be represented. So I feel like I haven't done the research because I feel like I'm not going to like what I find. And, it's like, you tell me to vote for, obviously, Trump with him holding a rally in Tulsa on Juneteenth. And then you have Biden who tells me I'm not black if I don't vote for him. It's like, so it's just like, where
exactly,
where am I supposed to turn as far as like, feeling good about going out and voting?
It's hard when it comes to the presidency because people don't vote in primaries.
Right.
If you don't vote, the primary is more important than the presidency. You're voting for who you want to represent you. Right. And those people are going to go through another round. Then you're going to vote again. And then you're going to have two people. And those two people are going to go into the last round. Right. We have to pay attention from the base level. And it's hard. Oh my God. There's so much going on. And when they write these bills, they write a bunch of paperwork because they know you're not going to read it.
Right.
Like and they write it in the most boring language. So you don't really understand it when you do read it. Like it's crazy. But we have to do our best to stay at least aware of people we're interested in. I was lucky during the debates when I was in school. One of my classmates is really into politics, and he made a PowerPoint of like each candidate with their points of views on things. And that really helped me to understand it. I don't know where he got the information from, and I should contact him and maybe we can get together and kind of make something more to put out. Like, I am part of the Black Lives Matter UH group, so I can put it through there and we can send it out to some people. But it really, what you do, or what I can suggest, is to watch a random debate.
Yeah. Right.
And listen to what they say, and not just what they say, but how they say it. Because what I don't like about these debates is that it's pitting people against each other to fight.
Right.
I don't care about fighting. I don't care about if you think your values are more than hers. What are your values? What are her values? Let me decide.
And that's what I felt like was missing from the current round of debates. I just felt like it was, mudslinging, as they say. Oh, he did this back in 2006 and you voted for this. And it's just like, I mean, even that can be more useful than some of the stuff they were saying. It was just more mudslinging. It seemed like a social media feed more so than a debate. Like, I didn't know who was for what. So I just turned it off. And, I felt maybe I was wrong for doing that, but I just couldn't, sit there and watch old people, do that to each other. Because I'm used to.
Debate old topics that,
No,
exactly.
they didn't even debate old topics. They were just blaming each other
Really?
for doing. They were just throwing dirt at each
Just
other, really.
thrown everywhere, yeah.
And I mean, maybe in previous or other debates, like after that, they probably went more into the issues. Maybe, I doubt it, but
They
from what I
didn't.
watched, I didn't get any of that, so I left just
Want, like, needing more information, right?
well, just feeling like, again, there's nobody that represents us for real.
Yeah.
So I guess
Okay.
I guess what I want is for you to like
So-
talk to me about a person you like or a candidate you like.
I don't. Okay, this is my thing. I don't like any candidate, but
Me neither.
when I
That's
look
my
at
point.
it, I always look at the big picture.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna be real, I don't like any of the candidates. It would be a lesser of evils. But
Exactly.
I'm not looking at right now. Right now is gonna be bad. It's going to take us a minute to get out of this. Period. Point blank. We're not gonna get anybody soon. If we start encouraging that change, what we need now in our age group and our people, we are the future. We have the power to change absolutely everything that we see and we don't like. We're doing it right now.
Right.
We've we didn't get very much of the lessons in school, but we got some of the lessons to be able to look back and say they worked on that to be able to create this for me. The world I want to live in, I probably will never see, but I can take the steps
That's
to
real.
make that future possible for my children.
That's really.
That's what I care about, because I don't think realistically we can get there. Slavery was too close. People were alive during segregation. Right now, the racism is too strong. Right now, it can change if we don't accept this shit. So if we don't accept people mudslinging on these stages, and we call them and we're like, you need to tell me what your answer is to this thing, period, point blank, just like we've kind of done, but then gotten kicked out of rallies for, like, then we will get the answers. Then we'll get the people we need. We have people who step up to plate. I look at Obama, how he became who he was, and I see a future for a lot of people. I know a lot of people who are trying to run for offices, but then they run for lower offices and they're not either optimistic enough or they don't feel like they have enough support to be able to get to those higher positions that white people have to be able to get. So it really resides in how we're going to support our age group community to be better and to step up into those roles. You see all these old people and are probably not going to be alive to see the ramifications of them.
Right, but it's time for that though, to be honest.
Exactly. So if we, as the people, because we are coming to age, we are now the people who are taking over most of society. If we actually show up, we are in charge of what happens. First things first, because, okay, the big problem about explaining this is also explaining to somebody why the prison system is messed up. Like, there's so much right here, but then there's problems that are so deep,
right,
that we legit, it would be easier to abolish the whole thing, but it's just not possible. The Electoral College.
That burn it all down.
right? Because it would be so much easier to start over, but because
it would be
the society we live in, we can't. So we have to like find ways around it. The Electoral College cannot exist. The Electoral College is crazy, because do you know that electors do not have to vote in the way that their constituents voted?
Right,
They can vote however they want.
Which is why I felt like the popular vote really was kind of an illusion, because we saw that, Al Gore versus George Bush back in the day. I remember being, what were we, middle school back in those days? And like, wait, so Al Gore won the popular vote, but the Electoral College says George Bush is the president? So what?
Yeah, that even just happened with Hillary and Trump. That just happened.
Exactly.
Hillary won the popular vote. He got this. It doesn't make any sense. The Electoral College was when society was very mundane. The human mind was not as calculated to be able to express ideas and really understand points of view. We live in an informed society. There is no reason why we should have this diluted form of representation. We know what we're talking about. It's not just a bunch of people who don't know anything. Granted, there are still people who don't know anything, but you're gonna have that kind of thing. If they eliminate this, we will have a real democracy, and we don't. We have a quote unquote public democracy, and or a representative democracy, and it doesn't, it doesn't work. This, if you look at what other governments are doing around the world, this is not how they conduct themselves. Successful places, this is not how they conduct themselves. And people want to say, oh, it's because America is so diverse and because America is so there, with some minor changes. We're not trying because we don't want to. People love the idea of capitalism, but 100% of anything is a bad thing. So if you have 100% of money greedy people who can buy their way into power, that's it. That's all they're going for. And that's proven time and time again with these $1 trillion tax cuts.
And the real problem with that is like just going generations back to, like 1776 and shit, where, all of this is already established. So these families and these, conglomerates are already in power, and it's just,
right,
maintaining that system.
And they've had it, really, they really have had it since then.
Yeah.
And nothing has really changed because they've always had the money.
Which is why we have to burn this shit down.
Yeah. Shays Rebellion, favorite thing in all of history. Shays Rebellion is one of the main reasons why we have racism today.
Well, and then I'm sorry to, and this isn't really an off topic, but like, they get so mad at a fucking Wendy's burning, but they don't remember the Boston Tea Party that we were forced to learn about in school, right?
There's still tea in the harbor. There's like a small trace amount of it. That's how much freaking tea.
Bro, they
was dumped out.
And we all know how much the Brits love their tea. So can you imagine how furious they were? So,
like, the United States is built on revolution. The Civil War. Like, come on now.
And violence. And rebellion.
Exactly. Yeah, let's not forget Nat Turner now. Let's not forget Nat Turner.
Yes. It's all together. We're acting like it's a bunch of different things, but they work together. You have to have all of them. And we're at that point where we recognize that shit. I'm just waiting to see what happens.
And is it just me, or does it seem like they're trying to force us to do that? Because it's like you hear people say, oh, well, the problem I have with black people is they want a handout and this, that, and third. And it's like, well, what part of take me to jail and allow me to experience the due process of this judicial system you have so much faith in? What part of that is a handout? I thought that was, a constitutional right. I thought that was the point of a democracy. I thought that's why you send soldiers to Afghanistan and Iraq to fucking get blown to pieces by IEDs, is to fight for a democracy. But here in our own country, that's not applicable because I'm black. Like, that's crazy to me.
Exactly. But I could not say it better. Genuinely.
And I mean, I've been to Iraq myself. My grandfather was in Vietnam, like, and I'm just honestly asking because you do that, and because you hear the people say, "Oh, well, Kaepernick, you kneel on the anthem. That's disrespecting the soldiers." We the soldiers. What are you talking about?
Like, a soldier literally said, "Hey, don't sit down."
Exactly. A soldier told him to kneel.
Kneel. It's respectful. You kneel when a player gets hurt. How is it disrespectful to kneel during this thing?
And again,
I want this to mean, yeah. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we are the soldiers. Like, I guess you think it's all white boys walking around those bases in Iraq or outside the wire. Like, that's crazy.
And what I was saying earlier before you got on, like, all these people who are so mad at Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee, they do it in the name of it's our soldiers. But there's a girl who's missing right now. Ain't none of them looking for her. They don't give a shit
because they know where she is.
She's not missing. That girl is dead. She's not missing.
Yeah, that's exactly what we said. Because they know where she at. That you don't look for something unless you're one of those people that help somebody find something you stole from them, like scumbags.
They do it all the time. It's crazy. It's really crazy. If you look around anytime black cases get really, really loud, right? Check out low-key news stories because people are going missing.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, or like 100%. They have the technology to take control of electronic cars and crash them. or
Yeah.
start fires because they've done it. So like, no, no. Anytime they let us get attention, it's planned, it's calculated. Just like you said earlier about Black Lives Matter movement. No one is paying attention to all the cleaning up that's going on in Minnesota. And then no one's also paying attention to the fact that those piles of bricks are placed there and only the city can place them there.
Right. We got footage
So
of
that's
that.
an
We got
instigation.
receipts on that.
Yeah.
Right. 100%. Oh, I didn't say earlier, my grandma lives right outside this little Chinese block. It's Chinese people and Black people that own businesses right there. And all the businesses that were burned down, every single one of them were Black owned.
Of course.
That's targeted. They did their research on that. That's white supremacists coming into the city burning stuff down.
Yeah.
I got
fucking
into an argument
anarchist.
with I got into an argument with this chick on Facebook. Because I was like, if you're gonna loot and riot and stuff, right? Because I'm all for it. Get mad, get
Do
lit.
it in
If I
your
was there, I'd do
community,
it
though.
too. Right? But don't attack small businesses. Don't attack Black businesses. Don't attack minority businesses. Attack businesses that you know are doing wrong. Why would you not do it? Someone was like, we don't have time to research. If you have time to organize the march, you have time to research. It takes like 5 seconds. I'm following a group that exposes racist people. They do it so quickly. They find out so much information in like 10 minutes. It's crazy.
Where
And we
they
need-
are, who
we
they
need that
are,
link.
where they work.
Yeah, where
Oh.
and do right or right because we are and that's technically not right, but y'all didn't want to listen to me when I was peaceful, so now right.
Well, you kind of like lagging for me, so I didn't hear that last part. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's just me or
it's-
not.
It's hard to see and it's hard to hear people. I said it's sad to see how people can like create a rebuttal to genuinely. If people mattered, if you see people as humans and you recognize that they are just like you in a separate form, how can you look at what happens to us and say that you would be okay with that happening to you?
Right.
Because
Exactly.
that you accept that it's right if you would accept it happening to you.
Right. That's what's so appalling and hurtful about the whole situation. It's like, why are we having to fight anybody on this topic?
Right.
I mean, well, we know we have to fight like the white supremacists, like that's obvious, but
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
They
talking
never
about-
left the times. But like everybody else, if you're not a racist or if you're whatever,
like I'm talking about like, why do I have to have a conversation with my own grandmother about, well, what about black on black crime? Like that's hurtful. Not that I don't think black on black crime is a problem or anything.
I
but
mean, of course it's a problem.
I
but
mean,
it's just crime.
Why?
It's
But I've
just
never
crime.
heard anybody refer to white on white crime. But yet there's an ID channel where they just, oh, you got an hour-long special about how Kyle snapped and killed his girlfriend, and you think that's so
Right.
fucking
But
interesting.
it's just Kyle. It's not all white people. It's just Kyle.
Right, like every white
A
boy
lot
you
of
see,
times.
you don't look at him like a school shooter. I mean, personally, if he has a trench coat and I'm out of there. That's just me. But like, that's not how mainstream society looks at the situation. Like, you'll see a white dude with a trench coat walk into a movie theater and you'll be fine with that. But I walk into a movie theater and you're clutching your purse like I'm finna,
Right. And like that doesn't how?
But that's how they live their life, though. But nobody
Yeah.
talks about white on white crime. Like, there was a guy
Because
in
it's just
Florida.
crime.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just crime.
normal
Right.
crime that happens in the community, like but when it's in
Right.
our community,
There's
it's black on
Black
crime.
on black crime. No, there's no you know what? There's a crime again. There's police on people crime.
Right.
And if you really want to argue about Black Lives Matter and you just want me to say police on people, I will tell you personally, police on people. And I dare you to argue the point then. If you really like that's my thing, right? Is if you agree with the purpose of a movement, right? But you don't like the name, why is that going to stop you?
Right.
Like, I'm a feminist. I like equality for all genders. I don't like the name feminist because it's an equality for all genders. We also have to talk about male issues too. We have to talk about, at this case, trans issues too. We have to talk about all these different people's issues.
We talked about that.
Problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. I really dig you guys. But
That's so
okay.
cool that you just said that. Like, that's
Like,
crazy,
I
actually.
wouldn't consider myself a feminist, actually. Not because like I don't believe women should be treated equal. They should get the same pay. None of that shit. Just in the feminist stand, like, look, I don't want to fight no nigga. Like, I don't want
Right?
none of that shit.
I don't want that. What is up?
Like,
No, thank you.
And that's what I was saying. I feel like because if you just Google the definition of feminism, it's just equality for men and women or all genders, like she said, and it's been so polluted with these feminazis or whatever you want to call them, who just attack everybody and everything, and it's just polluting the movement. Was just supposed to be equality. Like I said earlier, like I wouldn't want my mom to get anything less than some other man who's just as good as she is just because she's a man. That's bullshit. So like that makes me a feminist just because I feel that way. But because of how it's portrayed in the media, it's like you see this little fat white girl. No disrespect, not body shaming. I'm just saying that's what they show you, is this white girl with short purple hair screaming at you for being a man. And, and so that's easy for men to write off feminism as just some like bullshit movement. But that's what they do to all our movements, though. They do that to Black Lives Matter. They did that to the Black Panthers. You could go back to any movement that's ever meant anything. That's how they discredit you, is by focusing in the lens on somebody that's going to make people discredit you.
Exactly. That's why I love when I love when people online say, "Oh, you need to get off the media and formulate your own opinion." My dude, you need to get off the media and formulate your own decision, because
what does that even mean?
Like take the time and actually watch Republican news. Like, it's lies. Like, it's straight up, it's a lie. Like it's not a stretch of the truth. It's not it's a lie. And it doesn't, of course they have the opinions that they have. They're not being told the truth. Like, it's
like Fox News?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all. That's both sides, though.
That's actually, Fox News is a whole different entity, if you ask me. They're just about controversy. You there?
Yeah, I lost her. Let's give her this way.
Yeah, Fox News is about controversy. They're not about the truth. They're not about getting down to the problem. They're just about like stirring the pot. And when it comes to Republicans who lie, Democrats lie, and they wrap it up in little nice words like healthcare. And instead of saying what you really trying to say,
that is both sides.
Oh, there she is. I can't see you, but I can hear you.